everybody, and welcome back to Coffee with Chase, episode 23. I am your host, Chase. If you're a returning listener, thank you very much for joining me for another lovely episode. If you're a new listener, thank you very much for clicking on this very episode, sitting down, and listening to my nonsense. If you haven't already, please make sure to hit the subscribe or follow button, depending on which platform you use to consume the show. The show is available on both Spotify and YouTube. Also, make sure to click on the prompts on both platforms to be notified every time I upload a new episode. In this episode, we try to tackle the question of, is everything okay? I also talk about the meaning of counting small victories. We also celebrate a birthday. And to close out the show, we have the AFC Championship edition of the Bills Backer Corner. And with that, let's get right into the show. Boy, does it feel good to be back talking to you guys after the past couple weeks, because that has been scary to say the least. And if you haven't already, please make sure to go check out the last two episodes. There's a part 1 and a part 2 to my COVID story. In the first part, I talked to you guys about my COVID diagnosis, going through quarantine, dealing with the mental and emotional toll it put me through. And then in the second part, I talked to you guys about my first ever ER visit, dealing with COVID and dealing with the side effects, the after effects, some issues it was giving me, and telling you guys about one of the worst nights I wish I could forget. But, after that day, it's been a continuous journey, story, an emotional roller coaster, hamster wheel, whatever you can call it. So after that day, after the scary night I wish I could forget, I took a couple days off of work because they gave me an excuse from work notice for a couple days. Healing was a part of the solution, they told me. Just take a couple days to yourself, relax, sleep, drink fluids, take vitamins, and say your prayers, little Hulksters. I'm just kidding. But, they told me just take a couple days to relax yourself, ease back into life. No, they didn't say ease back into life, but, just take it easy. And, when I tell you guys that sleeping during this period of time was almost non-existent, that was to say the least, because I described to you guys the pains I was feeling in the side effects. It was really severe chest pains, and they told me these chest pains were because I had a inflammation of my inner lung lining. Now, they told me it was a good thing it wasn't an inflammation of my lungs, because if it was, this would have caused pneumonia, and that would have been a serious issue. But luckily, I had just that. This is what was giving me my severe chest pains, difficulty of breathing sometimes. And, these pains were severe at times, sometimes just a 5 out of 10 on a scale, very moderate sometimes, but sometimes these pains were very unbearable. And the scary part was, like I said, sleep was almost non-existent. And like I said, the scary part was when I would try going to sleep, these pains would become very persistent, and I would take certain things to help me sleep. At this time, I was just taking melatonin. So melatonin helps helps me sleep. It makes me, I would say it makes me tired, but it eases my mind, to help me relax, to help me fall asleep quicker, more easy. But at this time, the melatonin wasn't working. I would say it wasn't working, but I was taking it so much prior to this that, I mean, the effect wasn't working properly, I think. And, my mind would be racing. My chest would be beating, and it would take me forever to fall asleep. And, I'd be sitting there, mind racing, thoughts going a million miles an hour. And, I would be up for hours at a time, fall asleep, and then wake up out of the middle of my sleep with my chest like hurting so much to the point where I was afraid to go back to sleep. So I would wake up feeling these chest pains, go downstairs, and then be up until daytime. And I wouldn't be able to get, like they said, recommend 8 hours of sleep, 9 hours of sleep at a time. It would be 3 or 4 or 5. But, some people can function on very little to no sleep at a time. And that's scary because me, I need at least 8 or 9 hours. So hopefully you guys can tell that right now, as I'm coming to you guys right now, I have gotten 8 hours of sleep, 9 hours of sleep at a time. So I'm feeling fantastic. But I'm telling you guys my perspective from that day, like from the days after going to the hospital, dealing with this ER visit. Now, sleeping for 3-4 hours at a time was very scary for me because, the bags under my eyes were developing and I looked like a freaking monster. I was probably a miserable dick. And, I am so sorry to my girlfriend and to my family because I was probably just a jerk. And a lot of people are jerks when they don't sleep. But I'm not using that as an excuse. I am so sorry to anybody, really, anybody. Even you, the listener, dealing with me the past couple weeks, talking about this stuff. I was probably a absolute nightmare to listen to. And hopefully right now I sound a lot better. But, slowly, like I said in the prior episodes, talking to my primary care doctor and, they recommending certain vitamins, everything to take to help me slowly ease back into everyday life. And these products have been helping me recently. And, I've slowly eased back into working 6 hours at a time. My boss being very, very supportive and helpful with easing back into work. And that's a good part because if, my boss wasn't supportive, I don't know how or why I could ease back into work. I don't know. Anyways, just being back at work has been scary because like I told you guys, I went to the ER after returning to work for a couple hours and I didn't know how I was going to do going back, but it has felt so good returning to a sense of normalcy after the past couple weeks because, like I said before, the past couple years, January has not, absolutely been not good to me at all whatsoever. So, I mean, I'm crawling. crawling, like bumps and bruises and all, out of January. But before we get out of January, we're celebrating a birthday. And this person means so much to me because this is the person I love. My girlfriend is celebrating her 24th birthday. And, you know, I am so incredibly happy and proud of her because this is just a crazy moment. Not just because it's her birthday, but just because, you know, I've been with her for so long. I've been with her for 7 years, and I've just been able to watch her grow, develop, and, you know, mold into the person I knew she could become. And, you know, sometimes it makes me speechless because, like, I don't have words to show how much I am proud of her. Like, I feel like words sometimes can't amount to the amount of overwhelming support and proudness I have. I believe that's a word. I have for her. And, like, you know, sometimes you can only watch from afar just to see them own their craft. And I'm sorry I'm getting sentimental here, but, like, I like to believe that's okay on this podcast because, like I said, this podcast has been an open book. And, you know, it's okay to let out emotions sometimes and, you know, count the small victories. Like I said in the intro, counting small victories has been important to me over the past couple days and weeks because I've been going back to therapy, like I said in last week's episode. After, I think, a month-long hiatus, for some reason, I just didn't want to go because, I mean, at the thought of it, I would just get, I don't know, angry, upset, and just not want to talk. Like, I felt like it wasn't the right time, right place. And sometimes I just don't want to talk about those feelings. But if you have ever thought about going to counseling or receiving counseling, it is okay to do so. Because sometimes we all need a shoulder to lean on. Even if you're the most strong-willed, you know, outgoing, eccentric, I think. I don't know. Maybe I'm just throwing verbiage out there to fill. But it is okay to say you need help. It is okay to ask for help. Sometimes we just need a person to ask us, is everything okay? Are you okay? Because right now, I like to say we're all struggling. We're all struggling with mental health, anxiety, depression, and, you know, dealing with COVID and this pandemic. I believe this is going to cause one of the most scariest waves, like consuming waves of thoughts, depression, anxiety, and it's just going to consume us. So please tackle this right now and ask for help. Go out, research, help. Research like self-help. And don't be afraid. Don't ever be afraid of, is this going to help? Is this right for me? Don't be afraid of that, because that's the first barrier you need to break through. That is a small victory to first get past those questions of, is this right for me? Should I do this? Should I ask for help? Because like I said, sometimes we all need a shoulder to lean on. And right now, can we at least go 5 minutes without anything major happening in 2020? Or should I say 2021? Because this has been a mirror image so far of last year. It seems like 2020 has been right here all along, chugging right alongside us, right alongside 2021. But we all need just small victories to help us get through the beginning of this year and hopefully the rest of the year. And what I mean by small victories is like counting small things you would normally look past. Let's say, going to the grocery store, being around people, and just getting reacclimated to a sense of normalcy in life. Going to a department store, an outlet store, and, just like I said, getting back to a sense of normalcy. Counting the small victories if you've been afraid to go out, go to the store, be around people. Let's say if, you want to get some fresh air and you go out and you walk for 30 minutes, an hour at a time. That's a small victory. You're able to get out, get some fresh air, and just breathe. Counting small victories as in, passing a test, passing a course, getting a good grade you would normally think, okay, yeah, I usually get good grades. Count those. Believe in yourself and say, yes, I did that. Yes, I knew I could achieve that. And yes, I am doing the absolute best that I can. Because at the end of the day, these will help you answer the question, is everything okay? And I'm not saying I'm, perfectly 100% right now either. I'm just trying to help you guys get reacclimated as well, because like I said, I'm still dealing with the after effects of COVID. I'm still trying to count my small victories, but I wanted to bring this forward because I feel like that's something everybody needs to hear right now. Everybody needs to hear that small victories are important. These small victories will help us answer the question of, is everything okay? And, I want to bring this forward to you guys so you guys know that I'm still trying to return to normalcy. Because for the first time since really Christmas, since getting together with family on Christmas, I went out for the first time. Like, not in the sense of partying, hanging out, or drinking. More like just going to the department store. And for the longest time, staying inside, dealing with COVID, it made me weary of going out. Weary of the unknown more than usual. Now, don't get me wrong. I am usually very cautious. But for the first time, stepping outside of my routine of going to work and back, it truly felt weird being in a store shopping. I mean, hopefully it's back to a norm, but who knows? My sensory overload was to the max. Like I'm saying, sound, sight, smell, anxiety, everything was blinking red, DEFCON 5. You know, like, where's the nearest exit? Like, I need to go. Sensory overload was through the roof. I mean, everything. I don't know why. Maybe it was just the anxiety of everything. Hopefully going back to normal. I mean, I felt like I needed to share this because, you know, I didn't say preaching, but talking about counting small victories just a couple minutes ago. But I want to let you guys know that I'm still trying to count small victories. I'm still trying to, like I said, return to normalcy. Because, I mean, I wanted to share that also because I don't know if anyone else is going through that same situation after dealing with COVID. It's very scary because this is something I really haven't experienced before. And this is all still new to me and all still new to the world. But it's a small victory in the sense of steadying your ground after a setback, getting back to normal, and not being afraid to hopefully answer the question, is everything okay? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Bills Backer Corner, where we provide predictions, projections, and potential spoilers to the upcoming Buffalo Bills game. Now, this is the AFC Championship game prediction. And to say I seen this coming, I'd be lying. Because last week, the Bills faced their toughest opponent to date in the Baltimore Ravens. The Bills won this game with a total score of 17-3. Now, I thought this game was going to be close. I thought this game was going to be competitive. And I predicted the Bills were going to win this game with a total score of 24-21. But the Bills ended up winning this game with a total score of 17-3. The wind, the weather played a factor in this game because the Ravens kicker, Justin Tucker, is the most prolific, efficient, and accurate kicker of all time. And to say he doesn't miss field goals, he doesn't miss field goals. He missed 2 field goals in this game that potentially could have played a factor into the Ravens winning. But the Bills had the weather on their side, and the Bills won this game. Now, coming out of this game, unfortunately, Lamar Jackson, the Ravens quarterback, had suffered a concussion and was out of this game. And that has been one of the most scariest hits I have ever seen a quarterback take. And I really hope he's okay. And to say Bills Mafia stepped up in the most supportive way, donating over, I believe it is sitting at right now, over $300,000 donated to a Lamar Jackson-backed charity. So I am completely flabbergasted, at a loss for words, and how much that means to me, how much that means to him, how much that means to the charity. So thank you, Bills Mafia. But this week we have the AFC Championship game. This week, the Bills are facing the Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City. The game is on Sunday, January 24th at 6:40 p.m. This game is scary because the Bills are playing the defending Super Bowl champions. The Bills have a chance this week because coming out of last week's game, Patrick Mahomes suffered an injury and is questionable, but is probable to play. So he's not functioning at 100%. So I see the Bills taking full advantage of this. I see the Bills winning. Yes, I said winning this game. The Bills win this game with a total score of 21-17, dethroning the defending Super Bowl champions and going on to the Super Bowl to face the Green Bay Packers. Now, Bills Mafia, can we do this? Matter of fact, I know we can do this. I know we can dethrone the Chiefs. I know this is a coming out party for the Buffalo Bills. Oh, we're not going anywhere anytime soon. We will be back here next year, and we will be back even stronger. Bills Mafia, keep the faith strong, and the Bills will win this game against the Kansas City Chiefs with a total score of 21-17, and we will go on to the Super Bowl and win our first Super Bowl championship. As always, with that, I want to say thank you for joining me for another week, another episode, and another vent session. The fact that you made it this far, I really do appreciate it. I'm sorry I don't say it enough, but I really am forever grateful. Here's to happy health, mental depression and anxiety awareness, and an overall feeling of self-empowerment. If you enjoyed what you listened to today, make sure you go back and listen to our catalog of episodes. Make sure you subscribe on both platforms, Spotify and YouTube. Also, if you know of anyone that may enjoy the show, please share it with them. Remember, the coffee is always on, and new friends are always welcomed. I will talk to everyone next week. Remember to always remind yourself, you made it this far, you're doing the best you can, and things will get better. I love you guys. Bye.